Hello and welcome to the Birmingham News Review. It's our Monday morning look back at the stories we've covered here on Birmingham News over the past week. First, we'll travel back to Monday. After 3 months of bin strikes and rubbish piling up on the streets of Birmingham, bin collections have now resumed and are getting back to normal after refuse workers suspended their strike. Birmingham City Council says crews are back out on their routes to begin clearing the backlog, and residents are being asked to separate household rubbish, recycling and garden waste as normal. Olivia Marks reports.
The day many local residents have been waiting for. After 3 rather smelly, messy months of strikes over job losses, bin workers are back to making regular collections.
Relieved, actually, yeah. It's been a bit of a pain. I understand why they did it, but it's nice to know we can get our rubbish collected now.
Now they started back, it should be all right, but I think some people took men over the top with it myself. I think it could have been finished after time.
We've had to keep our eyes on the council website every couple of days, and they've been very good in all fairness. They've kept the website well up to date and they've kept us informed, but it's very nice to have the collections back.
But this doesn't mean the dispute is over. In September, the High Court granted an interim injunction against the council's bid to make certain Grade 3 workers redundant. And in November, there'll be a trial to determine whether the council acted unlawfully in issuing these redundancy notices. The council want to modernise the service and save money, but the strike cost the council around £300,000 a week, and there's now plenty of backlog to clear.
Everybody's been really patient and helped us through those particularly difficult times, and we're hoping that the collections will get back to ordinary as quickly as possible. But ACAS are working with the council and the unions to come up with, hopefully, a settlement before we even go back to court. So that's what we want to do. We want to resolve this resolution as quickly as possible and get back to what we was good at, and that's collecting bins.
But for some locals, it's simply not enough. Over 13,000 people have signed a petition calling for a partial council tax refund, and Ray Egan over here wants free pest control.
I've lived in my house for 50 years. I've never seen a rat, and I've seen them scurrying at the bottom of our street. I'm calling it today Operation Ratatouille.
So the streets of Birmingham will be cleared, but the messy battle between the council and refuse workers is set to be resolved in court. Olivia Marks, Birmingham News.
A new project showcasing the work of local arts outdoors has launched in Handsworth Park. The Handsworth Art Trail is funded by Birmingham City Council and Arts Council England. The idea is that each year 2 pieces of public art are being commissioned, and that's over the course of the next 3 years. Birmingham News spoke to some of the artists.
We did a temporary one in 2015, and due to the success of that, we were able to obtain some Arts Council money and some City Council money to do a permanent one. And each year we're going to have 2 new pieces commissioned. This is by an open call to go in the different parts of the park. So this year we have Luke Perry, who's an artist based in the Black Country, and there's my piece, because I'm also one of the lead artists. There's my piece, which is the Pyramid Tower. It's over on the other side of the bridge. Most regions have an arts trail, and we just felt that it would be nice for Handsworth Park to have an arts trail. It's used quite a lot by the local community, and since the regeneration a few years ago, there's a lot of activity that takes place in the park, and we also have Friends of Handsworth Park that's also, managed quite a few projects. We've got the community garden at the top as well.
Within parks, if you walk your dog or if you've got kids, whatever happens, you've got a natural place that you go to. You don't necessarily move around, but the trail gives it a circulation so that people discover new parts of that park. And the importance of the piece, I think, for me, is at a time when there's a lot going on politically in the UK, to be able to make a piece which is celebrating essentially immigration it's really important, because there's not a lot that celebrates the value that multiculturalism gives to the UK. And this was the perfect place to do it.
Art is just a brilliant way of artists communicating with local people. The environment itself is really used by the wider community, and I think it's a perfect venue for having trails, art trails, sculptural pieces such as these.
And now we're heading down to the canals of Birmingham. It's not for history, but for kayaking and a monumental effort to raise money by Heart Breakfast's Gemma Hill. With more information, here's Hayden Atkins.
Putting yourself through vast amounts of pain to raise money for charity. That's exactly what Heart Breakfast's Gemma Hill has been doing over the past week. The mammoth 150-mile kayak trip concluded on Friday at the James Brindley in Birmingham after it was announced that Gemma had raised in excess of £50,000 for charity. The gruelling kayak challenge wasn't without its difficulties though, and presenters Gemma and Ed told us all about it.
Truthfully, it's been absolutely awful. I think it's been the longest 5 days of my life and the hardest 5 days of my life, and 100%. When we signed up for it, I don't think we really realised what it was. I definitely didn't. I'm quite fit and I don't mind a challenge, so I thought, how hard can that be? And on day one, after 27 miles on a windy day with broken paddles in the middle of London, I thought, what the heck have I done? And then every day was a disaster. So, and my body's broken, like the physical limits that you have to push yourself to.
Well, she's just incredible. I mean, what you've done, it was just blown us all away. As you said, we knew it would be hard, but we didn't know it would be this hard. And how you've done it, I don't know, because I know what state you were in on Tuesday. And you were pretty much done, I think, then, and you were in pain, every part of you hurt. And genuinely, we thought, it's done. We thought, she's had a good go at it, we've raised some money, but it's over now. And where you got that strength from, I don't know. How you dug deep and carried on, I don't know. But she did, and it's just awesome. So fair play to you.
Also part of the fundraising were the charities that will benefit from Gemma's efforts, including the Retinoblastoma Childhood Eye Cancer Trust. We spoke to Chief Executive Patrick Tonks and charity patron and Paralympian Darren Harris about the charity.
The two most commonly reported symptoms are something called white eye, where instead of a red eye, for example, in a photograph taken with a flash, it's a white reflection. So that's the most widely reported sign or symptom, and the other is a squint. And both of those may not be retinoblastoma, but if you see something like that and you're at all concerned, then our advice is just to go to your GP or healthcare professional and get it checked out.
I would always say that life goes on, or whatever challenges are thrown at us, we are very good at finding a way. I think Gemma's really demonstrated that. I mean, she's already said that at times she didn't think she'd be able to carry on, but the human mind is incredible when put under extreme pressure, that generally we will always find a way to come through it, even though it might seem at the time that there isn't a way out.
It's clear that Gemma's fantastic efforts will make a huge difference to the lives of many around the country. No mean feat at all, and despite the emotion, a job well done. This is Hayden Atkins for Birmingham News.
And finally, the beginning of October marks the birthday of former Manchester United and England footballer Duncan Edwards, who was sadly killed in the Munich air crash in 1957. Duncan grew up in Dudley, and October 2016 would have been his 80th birthday. To mark the occasion, 1 year ago this week, a special plaque was unveiled. Priory Park in Dudley was the setting to commemorate Duncan Edwards' 80th birthday in October 2016. Bobby Charlton, who played alongside Duncan Edwards, unveiled a plaque overlooking the playing fields where Duncan Edwards played football as a youngster.
Sir Bobby said that Duncan Edwards was the only player who made him feel inferior. That's the man we're remembering today. And I want to say this to all the young people from Dudley here today as well. Remember this, he grew up just round the corner in Elm Road. He went to Priory School like lots of you. He played football in this park. And what he shows you is that we, from Dudley, we're as good as anyone in the world. And he shows that with the right encouragement and the right support, and if you work as hard as you can and you strive every day to be the very best you can be, then the sky really is the limit and you can achieve anything you want. Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
As a youngster, Duncan Edwards, born in Woodside before moving to Elm Road on the Priory estate, certainly made an impression, becoming the youngest person ever to play for England. The plaque shows a quote from one of his school teachers in 1947, which says, "I've just seen a boy of 11 who will play for England one day." And it didn't take very long for that prediction to come true. He began his international career with England schoolboys just 2 years later, progressing to the full England team in the early 1950s. Today's youngsters are impressed by the role model from their estate. They were also impressed that an England legend, Bobby Charlton, had played with the local lad and had come along to unveil the plaque to his old friend.
Because he was a great player and he played for England so many times, and he played with Duncan Edwards, and that's brilliant.
It's special to me because he's just an absolute all-time legend and a Man United great. He used to come, he play over the park, and he lives just down the road over there, and he plays for Man United, and he loved football.
Duncan Edwards, one of the Busby babes, remembered this time last year in Priory Park, Dudley. Time for a short break now, but stay with us because there's still plenty more to come from the Birmingham News Review. Welcome back to the Birmingham News Review. We're continuing now with Tuesday. Birmingham's first permanent night shelter for rough sleepers has officially opened on World Homeless Day. Tabor House will provide accommodation and food for homeless people from 3 days to 28 days, depending on how long the person chooses to stay there. It's aimed at getting homeless people back on track by providing them with a mentor, as Olivia Marks reports.
I can never smile properly anymore. People that know me say I'm depressed. That's what my poison is, drink. Blocks the pain away, doesn't it? It's horrible.
Birmingham's one of the top 10 worst affected cities in the UK for homelessness, and with winter looming, it's those sleeping rough on the streets who are often vulnerable. But now the first permanent night shelter in the city has launched, aimed at encouraging a brighter future for the homeless people they take in.
They either come for 3 nights or they come for 28 nights. And they have showers and laundry and a safe space for them to be in overnight, evening and morning. We have evening meals and breakfasts. But importantly, the 28-nighters, we also give them a mentor. So for 3 or 6 months, they will have one mentor to work with them to support them in moving themselves forward in their lives.
How it works is Cypher Fireside and Midlands Heart refer those who will benefit from Tabor House. At the moment, they can accommodate for 6 people, but they're planning on expanding.
Addiction is one of the things in the forefront. Also some migrant workers, they just don't have something to fall back on, family or finances. They come with the promise of a job and it falls through, and maybe they get into sort of a negative lifestyle. We're taking people from all walks of life and all different stages and strengths and challenges.
The rate of homelessness in the city has increased by 2,000% since 2009 and 2010. But a government spokesperson has said homelessness is a complex issue with no single solution, and it's investing £550 million to 2020 to address the issue. With the help of 100 volunteers at Tabor House, they're hoping they can play their part in transforming the lives of rough sleepers. Olivia Marks, Birmingham News.
Police are appealing for witnesses following a fatal collision involving a cyclist in Birmingham on Monday afternoon. Emergency services were called to the junction of Edgbaston Road and Pershaw Road at around 4 o'clock following the collision involving a lorry and a female cyclist. The 32-year-old woman was treated by paramedics, but despite their best efforts, she was pronounced dead at the scene. The lorry driver remained at the scene and is assisting police with investigations. Anyone with information is urged to call police on 101. Mental health is a subject that will affect many of us in some capacity throughout our lives. But this week, mental health is being given a huge push as awareness is raised with a day of consultation. Hayden Atkins was out in Birmingham to find out how one push is helping to make a difference.
The 10th of October marks World Mental Health Day, and up and down the country, support centres have been set up to help those in need. And in Birmingham that was no different. Held at the Mac in Cannon Hill Park, a variety of charities and support services were in attendance to offer advice and guidance. And we spoke to Liz Armstrong, CEO of Better Pathways, a mental health charity based in Digbeth, who told us about the day and offered her advice to people who might be suffering.
So today is World Mental Health Day, and organisations across the world will be celebrating and marking today, and it's really to raise awareness of mental health conditions, and those people who maybe don't have a voice as well as others may have, so it's to mark the event. my advice would be to come down and see us or to talk to a friend about it. It really doesn't matter who you talk to about it, as long as it's somebody that's able to support you. But our door is always open for people with mental health conditions, as are the other organisations here. So don't be alone, come down and talk to us, seek help because it is there.
Birmingham News also spoke to Tom Howell from Birmingham Cross City CCG, who told us about how funding mental health works and the strategies in place to prevent those from suffering more.
Okay, that can be difficult because invariably there's lots of different pressures on NHS money. So in terms of mental health, we need to spend some money on people who might need to use an inpatient service, but we also want to spend money on preventing mental ill health. We try and use evidence where we possibly can to help guide our commissioning decisions, but it's also really important that we talk to people that might use services or might be carers or family members to get a sense of what's important to them as well. We like to think about how people who maybe have existing mental health problems can be supported to avoid going into crisis. So we're currently looking at developing things called crisis cafes, which are there as an alternative to maybe going to A&E, for example. We're also working with the West Midlands Academic Health Science Network and looking at prevention for children and young people, because we know that if we intervene early, particularly where young people have had really adverse events in their childhood, that we can make a real difference for them later in life.
Mental health continues to be a topic of hot discussion, but it's clear that charities and sufferers alike are confident that in time the issue will become even more approachable. This is Hayden Atkins for Birmingham News.
Babies are one of the happiest moments of a new mother's life, but for new mums who suffer with postnatal depression, those first few weeks, months and even years can be a real struggle. For one mum based in Birmingham, the answer to helping come to terms with any depression is exercise. And thanks to some new research, more help for sufferers could become more readily available. Hayden Atkins went to meet her.
Taking those first steps as a new mother can often be the most daunting and exciting of anyone's life. But postnatal depression, a condition which can affect more than 1 in 10 mothers, is a common occurrence and if left undealt with can lead to catastrophic circumstances. That's why Sophia Cooper, a mum in Birmingham, set up One Fit Mama, a now nationwide company that provides exercise classes for women who have just become mums, including those with PND. She told Birmingham News that the reason for quitting her job and setting up the company is very close to her heart.
The class was started because back in 2010 I suffered really bad postnatal depression and considered taking my own life. And when I spoke to a counsellor, they advised I went to a fitness class, but I couldn't really find anything that was suitable because I didn't want to leave my baby. So after a couple of months of going to a different type of circuit class, I had the idea to combine the two, and so left my job and just decided to go for it and try, and it's been really, really successful. And we've seen a real impact that we're making in communities, and now it's a nationwide company, so we're helping women across the country as well.
The classes, which run for 45 minutes, focus on allowing young children and babies to attend with their mothers, allowing women to exercise carefree in a fun and friendly environment. And new research from the University of Birmingham shows that aerobic exercise, like that in Sophia's classes, should be considered as a management option for those suffering with PND. And Sophia told us why this new research could be the breakthrough she and her company has been waiting for.
It was really exciting to see an actual study confirming that, so it's not just something that we're saying, we know now that that is true. So many mums that could do with funding. So we fundraise so that the mums that have postnatal depression don't have to pay. But our fundraising part isn't, it's not never ending. We have to keep topping it up, and we can't help everybody, unfortunately, because we just don't have the budget to do that. So funding to us would be incredible, because it would mean that every single mum that has postnatal depression would be able to access us for free. We wouldn't have to put a cap of 6 weeks. They could come until they felt better. And I think as well, a lot of the mums that do come are happy to pay. Maybe the mums that need it the most maybe can't afford to pay. They maybe don't have the budget to spend £20 on a class. So it would be really good to reach the mums that need it the most.
There's no doubting that every new mum loves their children more than anything in the world, but sometimes postnatal depression can make those early stages really difficult. But with research now suggesting exercise could be one of the ways to aid recovery, these are positive times for mums and all of those who attend One Fit Mama classes. This is Hayden Atkins for Birmingham News.
The Transport Museum in Withall was a popular place last weekend as they invited visitors to look back across the years at some of the once familiar sights around the Birmingham area. We sent our cameras along for a ride on a bus. The Transport Museum proved it was just the ticket for bus and nostalgia enthusiasts who turned out to commemorate the 70th and 80th birthday of two of the museum's oldest working former Birmingham City Transport buses.
The one pre-war one, that has been the oldest operational Birmingham bus for a very, very long time. But we've got another one coming through, hopefully be back on the road next year, that is even older. But today, that's the oldest one, and it's its 80th birthday. Then, after the war, they had to replace the entire fleet. They got rid of all the trams, they got rid of all the trolley buses, all the old bus fleet. Whole lot was replaced after World War II. And the other one that celebrated its 70th birthday, that was one of the first of the post-war deliveries. It's the same sort of appeal that the steam railways have. It's just taking you back to an era that has completely gone. Once you get on one of our buses, you're back in the 1940s or 1950s. There's a conductor there taking your fare and checking your tickets. Nowadays, there's around 100 buses here, plus some milk floats, fire engines. There's one more event on Saturday, October the 28th, when we stay open till 7 p.m, and the buses will be running in the twilight. So it's an experience you don't get at any other time of the year.
In addition, it's also worth noting that it's now 40 years since the last rear open platform buses ran on routes in Birmingham. Bus enthusiasts were able to ride to and from the city centre in one of the former open-back Midland-bred buses, which was built in 1965, adding a touch of realism to their nostalgic journey. I do love to see the old buses in action, and it's great that in our area we've got a number of places such as Withall that you can go and literally take a ride back in time. Time for a short break now, but stay with us because there's still plenty more to come from the Birmingham News Review. Welcome back to the Birmingham News Review. We're continuing now with Wednesday. Superintendent Keith Fraser has been working in policing since 1985. Keith is the only black superintendent in West Midlands Police, despite the region being one of the most diverse in the country, but now he's retiring. This month also marks Black History Month, and we caught up with Keith to find out why he's urging more people from the black community to get into policing.
Superintendent Keith Fraser has been serving in the police force for 32 years. At just 13, he wrote to the Home Office expressing his interest in policing and fulfilled his dream aged 19 when he became a fully trained officer.
The way, way my mum and my dad looked at me and my brother was kind of looking up at me like that was, it just, for me, I could see the pride in their faces, and two, it showed me how, I'd made the right decision.
Keith is the only black superintendent for West Midlands Police, but he's now retiring. Over the years, he's had to deal with racism whilst working on duty.
There's a white chap helping this elderly white chap who'd collapsed, who was in his home, and I was trying to put his socks back on. He started getting quite agitated, was trying to put his socks back onto his feet, and I looked at his wife and I said, what's up? And she said, he doesn't want you to touch him because you're black. I was in a polling station and I was having a chat with two lovely young women. And as she walked out, she said to me, you're a really lovely person. There's only one thing wrong with you. You're black. And that really kind of took me back.
Around 9% of West Midlands police officers are from black and minority ethnic communities, and Keith's urging more people from the black community to make a difference and join.
I shouldn't be like a museum piece, something that you go to the Albert Museum to kind of see. If you walk down the high street across the West Midlands, you see a whole variety of different people. Policing should reflect that. They probably perceive there's more racism in policing than there actually is, because I would not be part of an organisation which I thought was racist.
During his time, Keith has gone from beat patrols in Barking via New Scotland Yard to the region, taking on specialist roles. And his plans for retirement? Well, Keith's going to be working with charities to keep helping out the local community that he's dedicated his life to. Olivia Marks, Birmingham News.
On Monday, Hospice Care Week began as centres up and down the country celebrated the positive work that happens as people come to the end of their lives. And in the West Midlands, that was no different, as Hayden Atkins found out when he went to Stourbridge.
Hospice is often a place where friends, family and carers go as their loved ones pass away. A difficult time for many. Watching the clock tick down can be the hardest experience of someone's life. But as a part of Hospice Care Week, we went to the Mary Stevens Hospice in Stourbridge to find out what makes this place rather special. And Dan Malin, the hospice's digital expert, spoke to Birmingham News about what makes the place so special to everyone, and in particular him.
For me, it takes on a very personal sort of significance, because when I was 16, my mum passed away here. So there has always been that sort of drive and ambition in the back of my mind. As and when you get older, you pick up skills, you begin to build a career. Wouldn't it be amazing to do something I love for a place that will always be very special to me? And I mean, February last year, I was very lucky to be given the opportunity to do that. You know, it was a bit of a dream come true for me. Having the opportunity to then go on and tell other people's stories, to raise awareness of the unbelievable work that we do.
We also spoke to Rachel Doyle, whose husband Aid received treatment at the centre before he sadly passed away. She told us their story.
We came in on the 29th of December and he actually stayed in here through to his death on the 3rd of July 2016. So he was the longest patient I think they've had here for a long time. So we saw winter, spring and summer. The last seasons of Adrian's life were spent here. But we also, Adrian was baptised in the peace room, and we also renewed our wedding vows, which we wouldn't have been able to do had Adrian not been here in the hospice, and with all the love and support that was given by the staff to enable us to do that. And that is a really special memory for us and for the rest of our family.
Also present was Doreen Rhodes, a rather larger-than-life character who comes to the hospice to enjoy time with her friends, with her cancer treatment showing signs of vast improvement.
Because I said I didn't want to go. And then when I came the first time, oh, I love it. I really hate it when I can't come. Like next week, I've got a hospital appointment. I shan't be able to come. I'm down because I like this smile day, Wednesday. Friendly, you make a lot of friends. Only downside is you lose a lot of friends. That, you know. But apart from that, everybody's really brilliant. Can't speak highly enough. They do fantastic work.
People can come for a calm, happy and peaceful end to their lives, and it's testament to the staff and volunteers who make it all possible. This is Hayden Atkins for Birmingham News.
Aston University has been awarded £250,000 to support the growth of degree apprenticeships and help educate SMEs on how it can benefit businesses. The funding has been awarded by the Higher Education Funding Council for England and forms part of the second phase of the government's 2-year Degree Apprenticeships Development Fund programme. Birmingham News went to the Aston University to find out more.
What it helps Aston do is move forward in our mission to go out to those really hard to reach groups and ensure that we're increasing the inclusivity on our degree apprenticeships intake. What we're going to do with this fund is really boost those numbers and also go to those companies and organisations that might have felt apprehensive about doing it before. So really our awareness raising is what this is going to do, and we're going to make sure by boosting those numbers we are increasing the opportunities that are available and options available for learners.
Now, with a little help from Birmingham-based comedian Barbara Nice, the Moseley Road Baths Action Group have dived in and launched a crowdfunding campaign as they look to take over the running of the baths. A community interest group has been formed, and Hayden Atkins spoke to Barbara Nice and CIC member Kat Pearson about their plans.
I have swum at Moseley Road Baths longer than I care to remember, love. My kids have swum here and I think it's such a brilliant place. And everybody loves swimming. Do you love swimming, love?
I do. I swum all the way through university.
Well, I'm telling you, he's a nice-looking lad because he's a swimmer. It's very good. It keeps you fit, doesn't it? And we've got to keep this kind of thing going. Birmingham needs... This is a jewel in Birmingham's crown, kid. It's absolutely beautiful. It's great for the local community. We want to keep swimming at Moseley Road Baths, love.
We're trying to maintain swimming and keep that going after April next year. So we are launching a crowdfunder today. We need minimum, well, we're looking for 13,500, but we need kind of 75,000. And then after that, we're hoping that the pool will be able to keep going and make enough to operate. Just that it's a really great local community resource. Not only is it a beautiful historic building, it's used by people throughout Birmingham, but it's very central to this community here in Balsall Heath. And we just hope that we can keep swimming because this is the purpose of this building, the swimming pool here. So.
And finally, have you ever heard this before? Don't tell them, Pike. Yeah, it's one of the most famous lines from Dad's Army, and would you believe it was first broadcast in the episode called The Deadly Attachment back in October 1973, some 44 years ago. But of course it's still being repeated to this day. Now, Private Frank Pike was of course played by Ian Lavender, who was born in Birmingham, and back in 2015 he was honoured on the Birmingham Walk of Stars. Jasper Carrott was on hand to lead the praise.
He's obviously one of the best known characters in British comedy. There was a wonderful successful series called Dad's Army that is still being, I think the first episode was 1967, and they're still showing it today. And that is such a sign of great comedy when, 40 years on, you're still watching and you're still laughing. One of the most popular characters in Dad's Army was Frank Pike. I think when his first appearance was as a fetus, I think. It was so long ago. But he is within the hearts of everybody in this country. And he is one of the 2 surviving characters from Dad's Army. And he's here today to receive his Walk of Stars from our very own Lord Mayor. Will you please welcome Ian Lavender.
I remember the first careers meeting. Lavender, right. So what do you want to be, Lavender, when you leave school? Which, is probably 8 years' time. What do you want to be? I want to be an actor, sir. Yes, but what do you really want to be? And I learned very quickly, by about the 3rd interview with Ralph Gaskell, that when he said, Lavender, what are you going to do when you grow up? What do you when you leave school? What's your career path, do you think? That if I said, teacher, sir, he'd say, good lad, and I'd be left alone.
I would like to present you with this award on behalf of the council and the city itself. As a Brummie, it's a special event for you, and we'll welcome you back to the city.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I do actually sort of look at the town hall, and there's one room I think I still know, sort of semi-basement room. I can look through the window as I walk down Margaret Street, and where I auditioned for my grant to go to drama school. And without Birmingham City Council giving me a grant to live and to pay for my fees, I couldn't have done what I wanted to do and pursue my dream. And even now, approaching 70, I say thank you to the city every time I come here, and I thank you very much indeed.
It's a pleasure. Ian Lavender. Ian, would you like to take a seat?
Don't tell them, Pike, 44 years ago. Wow. Time for a short break now, but stay with us because there's still plenty more to come from the Birmingham News Review. Welcome back to the Birmingham News Review. Right then, it's time for the community notice board. As always, it's the news that you send to us.
We'll let you know how you can get in touch with us very, very soon.
Right then, first up this week, we'll have a quick look at something free that's coming up at the Midlands Arts Centre.
And it's quite simply Free Music Fridays.
We like a bit of music, don't we?
Can I sing?
Again?
Okay, not today then.
Go on, you're quite a good singer.
My hills are alive. Yeah?
With the sound of taffy.
I like that.
Now, in this case, Impact presents the Summer Sessions in the bar every first Friday of the month. You can hear some of the best acoustic artists and bands that Birmingham has to offer.
And then on Sundays, it's Sunday Activity Night. Delay that Sunday sinking feeling and turn Sunday into a fun day at Max Arena Bar.
Like what you did there. Every Sunday from 5 p.m, there's a range of free activities such as board games, crafts and adult colouring in.
Do crafts while you drink craft. You can
Craft ales.
Game and gulp. I like that. Game and gulp gin. I like that. Make the dying moments of each weekend the highlight of your week. Well, that's what they say.
Yes, it's a free event and you can find out more at www.macbirmingham.co.uk.
Brilliant. 2 talented kickboxers from Sandwell will represent England at home and abroad next week. Yay.
Oh yes, 10-year-old Harvey Adlam and 24-year-old Aaron Walker will be representing their country in 2 international combat competitions.
That's just brilliant. They will compete in the International Combat Organization World Cup in Birmingham from the 20th to the 22nd, and then 4 days later in Italy at the Unified World Championships from the 25th to the 29th.
Busy old time for them. Harvey from Cradley Heath has been training since he was 6, and last year he picked up 2 silver and a bronze medal at the Unified World Championships, plus a bronze medal from the International Combat Organisation British Championships earlier on this year.
That's incredible. He is so young yet so determined to be winning that.
Yeah.
He is obviously very focused.
Oh yeah.
Incredible young man. Aaron from Rowley Regis, as well as being Harvey's coach, is competing himself. He's been training since the age of 8 and moved into coaching when he was 16. Wow. Setting up React Martial Arts, where he runs weekly sessions for all abilities.
Aaron and React Martial Arts are part of the Rowley Community Activity Network, which works to bring together all organisations across Rowley Regis to provide everyone with the opportunity to get active and healthy through sport and physical activity. What a good idea.
For more information about React Martial Arts, which is based at St Michael's School at Rowley Learning Campus, call Aaron on 075 39 383 299.
You're a blur then, you're a blur. Health, transport and employment are just some of the issues that have been tackled by an organisation set up 12 months ago to give a voice to blind and partially sighted people in Birmingham.
The Birmingham Sight Loss Council is run by 7 volunteer members who have established good working relationships with local authorities and other service providers in the city. One area of particular interest to council members is public transport.
Yeah, in addition to working on public transport, health and employment, the Sight Loss Council has been advising other organisations on how they can improve accessibility for people with sight loss. And those organisations include
Access New Street Station, Access Hippodrome, Royal National Institute of Blind People and Guide Dogs.
And anyone who wants to find out more about the Sight Loss Council or to get involved, you can join the Birmingham Sight Loss Council Facebook group. You can follow the council on Twitter at Birmingham SLC or visit their website. It's www.bslc.co.uk.
Can we just pause for a second? I've met Blind Dave Healy from The Great Run, and he had his guide dog, and I cannot say thank you enough to all the people that support the guide dogs, as well as a lot of the partially sighted and blind people across the West Midlands. It's incredible work of people who are volunteering most of the time. So I think it's just a moment to reflect and say thank you to every single person that's part of that team.
Absolutely, yeah. Blind Dave himself is an inspiration, isn't he?
Absolutely,
He's great.
absolutely.
And the dog is beautiful. Yes. Make a Difference Day is a volunteer recruitment event coming up this Tuesday, the 17th of October. It's been celebrated annually for over 20 years and it connects people with opportunities to volunteer locally, increase the strength of communities while promoting social engagement and responsibility.
This year in Sandwell, the Volunteer Centre have joined together with over 40 community groups, voluntary organisations, also statutory agencies calling local residents to make a real difference.
Now this all takes place at Wednesbury Town Hall on Holyhead Road, and individuals will be given the chance to find out the benefits of volunteering.
See, we're talking about volunteering before. Now, volunteering opportunities includes catering, helping out in the charity shop, assisting in community art projects, mentoring and befriending, administration, also advice work, and much, much more.
Sometimes you don't realise just how much is available. You know, if you just want to offer a little help, who's going to appreciate it?
Absolutely. And, you know, even if it's an hour, you know, give your time. It's absolutely incredible. The benefit of actually seeing people happier and being part of the community and doing something positive far outweighs anything else you can get on life. It's beautiful.
So if you want any more information about this, you can visit the website www.volunteercentersandwell.org.uk, or you can email Ruben at volunteercentersandwell.co.uk, and the phone number 0121 544 8326.
Wow. And finally, some news that come to us as part of Black History Month, which runs throughout October. I promise you, this is just timing. It's just timing that I have to read that.
Well, you know, we both read it. One of the West Midlands Police's most senior black officers has retired after a law and order career stretching back more than 30 years. Wow. And he's urged more members of the black community to make a difference by choosing police careers.
Keith Fraser, the only black superintendent currently with the force, has spoken of his immense pride at serving the public since his first day on patrol back in 1985. I was 3.
You were 3?
Wow.
I wasn't. I was a bit older than that.
Let's not go there.
Now, he's had a varied career. He's gone from beat patrols in Barking via New Scotland Yard to the West Midlands, where he worked in child protection, crime investigation, neighbourhood policing and specialist roles like tactical firearms commander.
He believes diversity among police officers is crucial in order to police effectively, and is encouraging young people from black and minority ethnic groups to follow in his footsteps.
Now, around 9% of West Midlands police officers are from black and minority ethnic communities, the second highest representation in UK policing. And the force has introduced a programme aimed at attracting, developing and retaining BME staff.
Wow, incredible. Discovery days at universities and schools, community centres and places of worship have been held to encourage applications from BME communities. Can I just say, I applied when I was in Scotland to become a police officer.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Oh, well.
Still waiting for that response.
You'd be quite good, actually.
Attention!
Exactly. You see what I mean? I don't mess with taffy, honestly.
Maybe that's why they didn't pick me. Let's go.
Anyway, this project has paid off because nearly a third of the force's latest PC recruits BME communities. And last year, the force was named one of the UK's most inclusive employers in the Excellence in Diversity Awards.
Oh, well done. Since joining West Midlands Police in 2005, Keith has worked in Birmingham, Stourbridge, Walsall and Wolverhampton, and been the force's lead for children and young people and a victims champion.
And now he's also helped create a group aimed at preventing young people getting sucked into crime and gang activity, and received several bravery commendations, including one for tackling a knife man when he was off duty at a post office paying his car tax.
Wow, incredible. So everyone here wishes Keith Fraser a happy retirement. But by the way, sounds of it sounds like he'll continue on his own, even if he's not wearing the uniform.
Oh, he'll keep himself busy.
I think he was born an officer and he'll forever continue being an officer.
Yeah, sounds like that sort of person, doesn't he?
Maybe we can join forces, Keith.
Yes.
You know, we can be Kate and Ali, Keith and Taffy. No?
I like that.
Work. I like that.
Anyway, that's what we found pinned to this week's community notice board.
If you know something that we need to be telling people about, why not get in touch? But give us at least a week's notice.
Many ways you can get in touch, including email, news@madeinbirmingham.tv.
On social media, look us up at Made in Birmingham TV, or use the hashtag Birmingham News, or even the hashtag Weekend Magazine. So many ways to get in touch. You're spoiled for choice, no excuse.
Do you want to do the hashtag thing again?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there we go. Always that way round.
Or maybe since we're talking about martial arts before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's yeah.
We'll have more for you at the same time next week, but there is another way you can get involved. Get your mobile phones or your tablets at the ready. Have a look at this.
Hey, it's us again.
Hello.
We've got something really cool to tell you like we promised you. So Lee, take it away.
Right, well, if you would like to put yourself on the telly and tell us what's going on in your area, all you've got to do is use one of these. But there are certain things you've got to remember.
Obviously, you need to film in landscape and not portrait, which is like this. Make sure your fingers are away from the lens and speak audibly. We want to hear what you got to say, and make sure you don't swear, so keep it clean.
Yeah, make sure you can get everything in within 45 seconds. If you can, send it to us. We'll put it on the telly, or we'll try to.
Absolutely. So now, guys, your notice has been pinned.
And that's all we have time for here on the Birmingham News Review. There's more news for Birmingham and the West Midlands tonight and every night of the week at 6 and 8. Stay with us after the break. Carl Jones is here with another big engine debate. Bye-bye for now.